Fire Josh McDaniels and bench Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I'm so done with this. Mitchell Renz here from the Raiders Report. I am so sick and tired of watching Josh McDaniels try to coach a football game. We've seen it time and time again. He can't do it. He can't lead a group of men. He can't make competent decisions. He just simply can't get it done. This loss, sure, there was a lot of opportunities where the Raiders had. Marcus Peters dropped INT. It's out there. But for Josh McDaniels to be as bad as what he is every single week and expecting a different result, like, what's the excuse going to be? You got your quarterback. This offense stinks. You spent all this money on the offensive side of the football. I thought that the Raiders were going to get an offensive guru. I mean, what's so frustrating is when this whole thing ended up going down, we were begging, don't hire Josh McDaniels. Don't go out and get Jimmy Garoppolo. What does Mark Davis do? He's like, I'm going to bring in Josh McDaniels. I'm going to get Jimmy Garoppolo. This offense stinks. If anybody puts any blame on this Raiders defense for being on the field as much as they were, shame on you, because it should not be like that. And luckily, the Raiders have Davante Adams, because if the Raiders didn't have Davante Adams, this would be the worst offense in the National Football League, and you can all thank this guy named Josh McDaniels. If you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, I want you to spam fire Josh McDaniels down in the chat. If I say fire Josh McDaniels 100 times on this show, it's not enough. He is a terrible head coach. He's never going to get it done. And what's so frustrating is the Raiders put up 7 points to get this thing started, and then there's no corrections. They don't do anything different. It's 23-15. It's 4th down and 4. You're marching down the field, and you kick a field goal? A field goal to make it 23-18. Great job, Josh. Great job. Anybody that has an ounce of a brain, anybody that has just any kind of just, I can't even put words on how frustrated I am, because it's 23-15. Why would you kick a field goal? Go for the touchdown and then go for 2. And then the offense, obviously, you do your thing. It's 23-18. Defense comes back out onto the field. You don't get a stop, but it's a costly timeout that you do, only saving 15 seconds. It's so frustrating time and time again watching this man try to coach football. He's a disgrace. Rate Josh McDaniels against the Steelers. The answer is 0. The answer is 0. Like, it's going to be the pinned comment on the show. I think everybody wants to get rid of this freaking guy, man. Josh McDaniels can't do it. And I do think that he is a smart, offensive-minded man. But unfortunately, he's a terrible head coach. And when you're a head coach and you're bad at it, Mark, the nation's asking you, fire this clown immediately. But scale it for me. McDaniels against the Steelers. The answer is a big fat 0. All right, let's look at some of the offensive numbers here. Steelers offense, 333 total yards. Pass was 228. Your rush was 105. Turnover 0. But look at the time of possession. Like, the Steelers, the time of possession, the Raiders, luckily in the fourth quarter, got a lot of the time of possession back, because at one point this was super, super one-sided. And the Raiders' offense has been one-sided. But I said the winner of this football game is going to come down to turnovers. Raiders turned the ball over 3 times. Thanks, Jimmy. The final Garoppolo interception was bad, but, he's just trying to make something happen. The other 2 INTs that Jimmy's doing, he's just throwing ducks out there on the field. He's trying to get Davante Adams killed. He just locks in on one person. If you're going to have this quarterback, he can't turn the ball over. There's going to be box score warriors out there saying, but Mitch, he was 28 of 44. He threw for 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. He played terrible. This is the worst game I've seen by Jimmy Garoppolo in a very, very long time. Costly turnovers, costly interceptions. I'm done with the Jimmy G experiment. I get it. You can't play Aiden O'Connell because he was the reserve quarterback, the emergency QB. You got nothing to lose. I know this. If I got to watch Jimmy Garoppolo try to play quarterback in a Josh McDaniels offense for the remainder of the season, I'm going to go clinically insane. I don't need to see Brian Hoyer. You know that Jimmy G can't get it done. Why not we see what we got in Aiden O'Connell? Next year's draft class is loaded with quarterback talent. I want to know, do I either have to draft a QB with a top 5 pick, because that's where the Raiders are going. The Raiders are trending in a top 5 pick direction. Or do I have something in Aiden O'Connell? If McDaniels was smart, he would say, Jimmy, enough with you. Let's put out O'Connell, and let's just see what the F we got. Now, obviously, I'm a frustrated human being, but I know this. For a lot of Raider fans that paid a lot of money to go to this game, you're probably more frustrated than me, and I don't blame you. Now, if you're a Raider fan and you want to be able to say, you know what, Mitch, I don't want to spend money on watching this team shit the bed, I don't blame you. But shout out to the Game Time app for being able to hook up the nation if you do decide to actually go to a game. Or if you want to go to a concert, maybe you want to go to a comedy show. There's a lot of other things that you can do. At this point, I might just start looking forward to basketball season or baseball season, the playoffs, and get my ass to a game because I don't want to have to watch this Raiders team try to play football. So, nation, create an account and redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. It is the perfect app for when you're out in Las Vegas. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I mean, luckily we got this guy. Davante is such a dog. He's an incredible wide receiver, 13 for 172 and 2 touchdowns. It just seemed like Jimmy, the only guy that he had any confidence in throwing the football to was Davante Adams. And I get it. Davante is an incredible wide receiver. There's no doubt about it. But, like, you have Trey Tucker was not used today. Sure, we got a little bit of Hunter Renfrow, but the offense that the Raiders are running right now is about as plain as it can get. You have all this offensive talent, and you're giving me Lay's chips. I'm talking plain potato chips, no salt, nothing. If you were to order this Raiders offense at a ice cream parlor, it's not vanilla, it's not chocolate, this is just ice cubes. They're giving you ice cube flavor offense. Why? Because Josh McDaniels sucks. He does. Whether you like to hear that or not, don't show that question. He sucks. He does. He's not a good offensive-minded guy. He's not a good head coach, and we just simply can't do it anymore. But the question that I do want to ask is about Jimmy Garoppolo, because Garoppolo was McDaniels' quarterback. You finally got your guy, and the product that you've seen on the field, it's been bad. It's been really frustrating to watch. 28 of 44, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Is it time to bench Jimmy Garoppolo? Is it time to put Jimmy Garoppolo on the bench and say, hey, sit right here next to me because he doesn't have the arm talent. And Jeremy was laughing at me. A lot of people laughed at me when I said, I think I can throw a football further than Jimmy G. I think I can. If you think that you can throw a football further than Jimmy Garoppolo, hit that like button right now. I do. And, it's a laughing conversation, but there's some people out there thinking like, he might actually be able to do it. For it to even be a thought that I can outthrow an NFL QB, that majority of Raider fans might have a chance to throw a football further than Jimmy G. Is he more accurate than me? Of course. Is he a better QB than me? Yes. But if you could throw a football further than an NFL quarterback, guess what? Defenses know that. They stack the box. And he's throwing ducks. Think about the amount of ducks he was throwing out there. I felt like I was a kid again on my old Nintendo playing the duck shooting game. You know what I'm talking about? Where the ducks go up, you try to shoot them. That's what I watch when I watch Jimmy Garoppolo throw a football. Is it time to bench Jimmy G? Yes. Put in Nate O'Connell. See what you got. Some people are like, Mitch, the Raiders are 1-2. The Raiders put up 17 against the Broncos. You put up 10 against the Bills, and you just scored 18 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 of those teams are terrible. The Bills are legit. But this is supposed to be an offense that's great, right? It's not, and it's not even close to being great. You're looking at one of the worst teams in the NFL thanks to that clown that they're calling a head coach. Let's go to some Super Chats here, and if you need to vent, Super Chat, it's the only way you're getting on. That decision lets you know that he doesn't know how to coach. The kicking the field goal part, again, and maybe the Raiders don't get it. I don't care, but at least you give your team a chance. Darian, just buffing the score to make the game look closer. You're probably right. He probably had a bet down, but Steelers covered anyway. Justin, no balls, McDaniels. None. Jay, the field goal was stomach churning. I can't wrap my mind around the idea that you think that that's a good move to kick a field goal, knowing that you're not going to have a lot of time to then score a touchdown. It makes no sense to me. James, Adams having a career night and you kick a field goal. Yeah. I mean, what's really frustrating was the plays before that because it was like was like third down or second down play. You might as well just spike the ball to throw to Davante. And then the final play after that, you throw it out of bounds to Jacoby. Like, it should be, if Davante's cooking the way he was, your target should have been, how can I get Davante in motion? We heard all about this pre-snap motion. We don't see any of it. No pre-snap motion. Jack Bishop, you know that field goal just shows me, doesn't trust his guy. He doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. So why should I? Why should I? Nobody trusts Jimmy Garoppolo because he stinks, and Josh McDaniels stinks. Isaac Hernandez, fire Josh McDaniels. I'm all in, man. I said I would take my time, but I'm there, man. I hate this guy. My dad always says, Mitch, don't say that you hate anyone. I can't stand Josh McDaniels. Wild one. The evidence is in. Josh McDaniels is sandbagging. Tank is in. That's the only explanation to kick a field goal in hopes of a touchdown with 20 seconds left. Until somebody gives me a legitimate reason why you kick a field goal down 23-15, I can't think of an answer. Nico, ball hawk DBs come to the Raiders and forget how to catch. This loss is 90% on coaching. There's definitely some execution flaws there. Like, if Marcus Peters has a pick six, we're talking about this game a lot differently. There were some bad calls. Malcolm Kuntz got held on the first touchdown play by the Steelers. But my point is, you score a touchdown early in the game, and you don't do any corrections for like 3.5, like for 2.5 quarters. How's that possible? Wrong way. Mark Davis should fire this guy today. What Mark Davis should do is step down. He should say, you know what, I made a lot of money being the Raiders owner. You sell the company or sell the business for $5 billion, whatever the hell it is, and you move on because you're not cut out to do it. Like, the unfortunate problem that we have is you have a spoiled brat of a human being that's had everything handed to him in his entire life. And now, shocker, he doesn't know how to run a business. Sure, he's made more money, but he has no idea what he's doing from a football standpoint. If you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, bench Jimmy Garoppolo, and if you want Mark Davis to sell the team, hit the subscribe button, man. I'm just so upset. I love doing watch parties. I look forward to Raiders games so much all week. I love hanging out with y'all. Chugs and I had a hell of a time in Las Vegas. Like, the shit that we were doing in Vegas with Raider fans, I'm frustrated because the nation deserves so much better. They deserve so much better. And for that product to be on the field, you just can't wrap your mind around it. Scheffler, the offense is killing us with all that money. You're right, you had all this money to be able to spend on the offensive side of football. Again, people are going to say, like, oh, Patrick Graham, this and that. I will admit, the biggest play of the game Patrick Graham fell short on was when the Steelers picked up that first down on 3rd down and 2. But, like, McDaniels and Ziegler had all this money to spend on the defense. And instead, they invested a lot of the money, the majority of the money, on the offensive side of the football. And yet, you got a terrible offense. Like, this loss this season is on McDaniels, and it's on Dave Ziegler. Scat Pack. I'm already giving up on the season, Mitch. I'm not going to give up on the season. I mean, at least the game was close at the end, right? Like, that's my glass half full speech. But if you give up on the season, that means you give up on Chugs and I. And all I ask is that you don't do that. Nico, because of McDaniels' horrible play calling, we put ourselves in holes and then abandon the run game. So ass, also donkeys are definitely worse than us. Yes, I agree with that. But we're going to compare. The Raiders are a bottom 3 team in the NFL right now. I think they are. They're definitely bottom 5. And for how much money was invested, how much upside this team had going into the offseason, it's not a lot, man. We're not looking good. Rebel, what the F? Kicking a field goal. Defense did their job, but this offense sucks. You got to win games when your defense plays the way that they did. I get it. 23 points, but there was just so many times, just time and time again, you're putting your defense there in a tough spot, man. Brute Warrior, can't wait to see us suck and then play Mahomes, Herbert, and Caleb 2 times a year. I don't think Caleb Williams goes to the Denver Broncos, but that would be something. If Caleb Williams ends up going to the Denver Broncos, Raiders are in a lot of trouble. Ludwig got rid of Carr because of interceptions. Look at this. Dude, I'm telling you what. Derek Carr is a better quarterback right now than Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, DC got hurt today. I will never wish that anybody gets injured. Would never wish ill on that. The other part of this is, though, McDaniels wanted his guy. He's got his guy. And now you see what McDaniels' offense looks like with his guy. It sucks. It stinks. Clem, yes, bench Jimmy G. If this is when the season is headed, you might as well put Aiden O'Connell in there. You might as well see what you got, because if you don't see what you got, then you're just wasting everyone's time. Buddy Bear, if this season only watches we're watching in July like the real ones, hey, I had more fun doing Madden simulations, which it sucks because I almost feel like I'm more upset now that our Madden simulation thing is off. We had Madden beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you gotta put in O'Connell at this point. Hey, crazy. When reality finally hits, my delusional fans. I don't know what that means. Mex, free Renfro. He deserves better than 3 targets. He does. There was opportunities today to get him the ball. The Raiders failed to do it. Matt O, hire Coach Prime. Terrible idea. Coach Prime is only going to be, it's a terrible idea. Coach Prime is only going to be able to be a college football quarterback. The way that he runs his whole system, and what I mean system is from top to bottom, he's going to be able to convince high school kids that he can get you to the league. The way Coach Prime coaches is not going to translate to the NFL. So I'll shut that down real quick here. All right, so the Raiders lose 23-18. I want them to bench Jimmy G. I want them to fire Josh McDaniels. Mark Davis sell the team. I'm done watching this shit show of an organization try to win football games. You got the best damn fans in all of sports. You know why people don't go to the games? Because you got to pay all this money to watch this shit show. You got to pay all this money to watch what just happened there, to watch a coach that has no idea what he's doing, to go out and get a quarterback that has no idea what the hell he's doing. I can't do it anymore. I will do it. I'll be here next week cheering on the Raiders take down the Chargers, and hopefully y'all are with me. And we're going to be live tomorrow for your Overreaction Monday. We're going to be live on Tuesday. Jeremy and Rolly are going to be live on Thursday. I actually have a wedding that I got to go to, but Raiders content every single day, that I can promise you is what you're going to get here on the Raiders Report.